Well, good morning internet. Here we are. We have a start to another day. It's been a good couple nights once again. As you can see, I kind of got myself half cleaned up. Feel a little bit civilized, and I guess it's time to head on back to civilization. As much as I don't want to, well, it's kind of the way life goes, back to reality. I got things that I can do in my room, as well as things that I can do over at the old apartment to finish up things. I should hook up the computer and get some videos up to the YouTube, because I'm in my final handful or so of uploads that I did, well, before I went offline, before the big move started. I have enjoyed my time here, and that's the problem with camping, or at least with me camping, is I get here, I get out camping, and I don't want to leave. I enjoy the quietness, I enjoy the camping, well, lack of a better term, I enjoy the seclusion. And like I mentioned in the first part of this video, I can do quite well in the middle of nowhere, just me by myself, with the camping setup that I've strived to get and maintain. I can be away from electricity, away from water, away from people, and still do quite well with the things that I have learned over my years of camping, back even with the tent and the car. Things like that I've picked up and carried with me into the fancy RVs and things like that. And now with this trailer here, I'm kind of back to where I started from in 2017, except I've got a few more years on me, more years of experience, more years of life, more years of research. And I'm kind of excited to see what the next few years holds in terms of, well, changes and things that's going to be coming along, if my plans can go the way that I've got them working in my head. I know sacrifices have been made, by a lot of people. A lot of things have been sacrificed. Privacy, space, security, my own apartment, but this should, if everything goes the way that I'm hoping to, allow me within 5 years or so to live 3/4 of the dream that I had originally wanted to be 10-15 years ago. Like I mentioned in the first part, owning a piece of land in the middle of nowhere again is probably never going to happen in the near future anyway. You never know, maybe I'll find out that I'm an heir to millions of money, some millionaire uncle that I've never met before, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Everything that I've got has either been worked for to get, or worked for by my own hands to get, and everything I got has been worked for to get, whether it's through working or through struggling to get it, or through, well, hanging on to what you got because it's all you're gonna have in the end, kind of a thing. And really, for those in my life that have come and gone, well, they're when it comes down to it, it's their loss. They're the ones that chose to leave. They're the ones that basically have made the mistake, if you will. And they're the ones that are missing out on the great summers and great adventures. And finally, after many years, the lack of stress that we were under for a great many years. It's kind of like you got a cup of water in the bottom of a boat and you bail long before the boat starts to sink. And then when the boat sinks and everything is better, gets back to where things should have been before the boat started to sink, and instead you're still floating in the water because you chose to bail early. But that's what people do. They make choices in their life and they have to stick with it. As for me, I've gotten all cleaned up here. Time to pack up the trailer and head back to civilization. I really don't want to. It is what it is. And well, I guess we'll see y'all from the road. Well, hello internets. Here we are. Little bit of a afternoon update. Well, you can maybe gather by the lack of road footage that something is different. I ended up with a little bit of a change of plans. There's several campgrounds within about 45 minutes to an hour drive of where I currently am. One of them is like a roadside campground without any power or nothing, but it's in trees, which would be a little bit of shade. Another one is in kind of an open field area with very minimal trees, so there's not much shade. Both of those, the price is very, very, very cheap to stay at for a night. But with summer heat and stuff, I kind of like my air conditioner and my power. I know I can run the generator, but by the time you buy a can or two of fuel, the cost is pretty much equal to staying at a slightly better campground that has power in your sight. There's another campground about an hour and a half away, but I didn't really feel like venturing that far, so I didn't go that direction today. As well as there's a campground that I stayed at probably 20 years ago now that is a little bit older or old. It has not been widely used or super maintained over those 20 years, and the price to stay at that is like $5 less than the price to stay at the campground I'm currently at. And with the multi-day discount, it's actually cheaper to stay here than it is to stay there. And there's a concession here and a swimmable lake here and that. However, the only catch was, as you guys can see, I am now in a totally different stall. I had to, hook up and relocate the trailer to a different stall. Which, when you have a small trailer with minimal setup, it really doesn't take you much to hook and go, especially if you're only moving, 40-50 feet. And I've stayed at this campground a bit over the last few years, so they kind of know me here. You get a little bit of a few dollars off because, I never cause trouble, never leave a mess, and I'm always grateful for the opportunity to camp here, kind of a deal. So they like people that when they stay in a stall, you can't really tell that they ever stayed in here to begin with, because they leave it just the way they found it. The only catch is, because I only budgeted for just a few days, I am not running low on food, but running low on some of those fresh essentials, because, one, I don't have a fridge in this trailer, and I did not bring my cooler because I didn't think I'd be out for more than just a few days, and I know I'm only about a half hour from the nearest town and I can go buy what I want in the town, but I'm kind of enjoying, well, being as far away from so-called civilization as possible. There is a concession cookhouse here where you can get virtually almost anything here, so I might treat myself at supper and go up and get a big burger and fries or something like that. I may do that for today and tomorrow, and yeah, okay, fine, maybe it'll be a little more than cooking here yourself cost-wise, but when was the last time I really treated myself to actually eat out rather than cook at home? And I've done fairly well, I think, to stay away from drive-thrus over the last few weeks and things like that. So in a way, I kind of not deserve it, but kind of sort of deserve it. So probably going to get on with the evening here. Kind of enjoy the shade. This stall is just barely big enough for the truck and cargo trailer. I don't know if I could put the Jayco in here and still have room. But it's the perfect size. It's got shade. It's got good quality electrical. And meets the criteria or needs that I need. So we'll get on with the old evening, see what's what, and we'll catch y'all later. Well, good evening, internets. Here we are. We have ourselves a little bit of a check-in. It's been a nice, quiet evening. I still stand, what do you want to say, confident on my not camping on a long weekend thing, because the first half of this camping adventure was done on a long weekend, and it was busy. It was loud. Not loud, but louder than I would like it to be. There was kids and golf carts and vehicles and people, many of whom were just enjoying their long weekend. They weren't doing anything disruptive in terms of like being belligerent or anything. They were just enjoying their long weekend. Since, well, the long weekend's over and 99% of those people have left, it has been extremely quiet down here. There's 2 or 3 seasonal residents in this area that I'm in, and I haven't seen a single vehicle all day. Well, I should say, haven't seen a single vehicle since about noon, when, all the people finished leaving. And I hadn't seen a golf cart all day up until about 2 minutes ago. And that was a couple of kids that were coming back from the lake, or the waterfront, because I recognized the golf cart. Because it was one of those ones that had big rims with the custom paint kind of a thing. That being said, I was down at the beach earlier today, and I was going to do some filming. However, there was people down there, and, well, I've got a rule, even though it's public space, even though you can technically do whatever you want in terms of pictures or filming in public, and there's not much people can do about it. I don't like to film around sensitive areas like splash parks where there's children, or beaches where there are people that are sunbathing or in a rather, small bathing suit, things like that. So I didn't film down at the beach. Maybe I'll get up early tomorrow morning and go down there if I can get focused early in the morning. I was going to go to the boat launch, but there was people there with their, I don't know what they were, kind of looks like a surfboard, but bigger. And people with kayaks and paddle boards and paddle boats and kayaks and things. So the boat launch was a little bit busy. There's apparently fish in this lake too, because people do fish, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to someday get my fishing license again and gather up some, tackle and rods like I used to have way back, and get out there and, well, see what I can catch for supper, right? That being said, I was starting to feel a little hungry. Didn't really have anything to eat all day except for coffee first thing in the morning. And yeah, I'm not out of food. I should say I'm not out of bagged food like chips or popcorn, or I think I got a couple cans of ravioli. I'm out of cold food like, hamburgers or luncheon meats or cheeses and stuff, stuff that you could make while you're camping fairly easily. Because once again, I only planned to stay for a short little bit, but I've ended up staying a little longer than first planned out. And I was going to make a run into the town that I'm nearest to and pick up some stuff. Pick up one of those cheap foam coolers, pick up some ice, and pick up some cold goods. I've got those little boxes of cereal thingies, and I was going to get some milk so I could have breakfast, but by the time you factor in driving all the way in there, by the time you factor in the groceries you're going to buy, and things like that, would it really benefit you much more than 1 or 2 meals anyways here? So for supper tonight, I went down to the clubhouse and had a big, delicious double cheeseburger. I'm not sure if it was exceptionally good, or if I was just exceptionally hungry, or maybe a little bit of both. And I'm just sitting here trying to decide if I want some ice cream, or maybe save that for tomorrow when it's hot. It's been a good day. It's been a quiet day. It's been a very peaceful day. A person starts to decompress with camping and all that, especially when there's not noise of dogs barking or people driving back and forth with their stereos going or whatever. I know those people are just enjoying their long weekends too, but sometimes a person likes a little more quieter than other people like it too. And like I mentioned there in, I think, the first part of the day here today, that I know of another lake, if you really want to call it a lake, that is very, very quiet, almost deserted, if you will. There's 2 or 3 cabin properties and maybe 1 or 2 RVs there at a time. Last time I was there, the bathrooms weren't even available to be used, and the power was off. So I didn't make the effort this time to drive, almost an hour from here to there, just to find out that it wasn't where I wanted to be. And there was a time in the past where it was extremely cheap to stay at, and according to the internets, they have put the rates up here, so it's within, like, I think $5 or $7 of where I'm currently staying, that has power, water, concession. You can get hot food, you can get ice cream, there's showers, there's bathrooms, there's even laundry here. You know, like I mentioned, boat launch, a good lake, beachfront, outhouses that you're not afraid of falling through the floor, because at that other place it is soft, and things like that. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I chose where I am for this little stay here than moving somewhere else. But probably gonna end the day here. Not 100% sure how long this vlog is going to be. Might be a little bit longer, especially with the road footage in it, but I guess it'll be what it is. If I don't end it now, it's going to be really, really long, or I'll happen to forget to end it, and then will be tomorrow morning before you know it. So thanks for coming on this little camping adventure with me. It is what it is, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy